Hey folks, and welcome back to the Tower Tech. I finally got to a point I could start to do the cable management, the chasing in the walls, and I can start to do the cable management under the desk because, as I said in my last video, and I think the video before that, my OCD has been going absolutely bonkers. So I spent the whole of yesterday afternoon and last night getting this room tidied up, which turned into a substantially bigger task than I actually anticipated it to be. It took a long time, but we're just about ready to get going, so we're going to get the cables chased in the wall behind me in exactly the same way that we did with the widescreen, the ultra-wide monitor. I'm going to get that mess tidied up and sorted, and then we're going to go about our day and we're going to play some games. I'm absolutely obsessed with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds at the moment. Fab game, so we need to get this job finished so that we can crack on. We've run into our first snag, and given that I've done this on the opposite wall for the other desk and it fitted absolutely perfectly, the thickness of the plastic trunking that I want to put in the wall is just a couple of millimeters thicker than the space from the outside of the plasterboard all the way into the inside of the brickwork. So that obviously is not going to plaster over particularly well, so we have very little alternative, I'm afraid, other than to actually just take a hammer and a chisel to this and make that depth deeper. That's going to add substantially more time to this build than I was anticipating, but hey, such is life, and I guess this is part of the reason that we do these. So there we go, guys. About 20 minutes later and one sore arm, we've got that nice and flush. I've made a little bit of a hole there, but that's okay because we're going to plaster over, so that'll soon disappear. And that, if I can get the right angle, is as flush as that is going to get. So we need to screw this plastic conduit into the brickwork, and then we need to plaster over the top. We finally got the plastic conduit screwed into the wall. And you'll note that I've left a space at the top and at the bottom. That's to make the cables just a little bit easier to get in and out. And part of the reason that I'm using one of these plastic conduits is so that if I want to replace the cables, pull them out and change them out at a later date, if DisplayPort standards change, or I have a new power supply, or I change my webcam, it's much easier to do. This has worked really effectively for me on the other wall. And top tip, guys, don't just put your DisplayPort cable into the wall. Use one of these it's a DisplayPort extension lead that can then go in the wall. You can then plug your DisplayPort in there, and then when you want to move the desk out, all you've got to do is unplug the cable from the extension, because of course the cable from the PC is going to be clipped to the bottom of the desk, nice and tidy. So just being able to unclip from this extension allows you to be able to pull the desk out nice and easily. There we go, guys, top tip. Got the monitor on the wall, cables trunked in, looking fab, looking sweet, pretty nice paint job, even if I do say so myself. All we've got left to do now is sort out this mess of cables and get those tacked to the underneath of the desk, and we are done. That's taken a little bit longer than I expected it to. So the build's complete. I've really tried to plan this a little bit better than I did the last desk build that I did, and I think I've learned some lessons from it. Most importantly, being able to pull the desk out from the wall. I've created a set of cable ties and Velcro straps, etc., so that you can disconnect the cables that run into the wall and are connected to the wall and go into the power sockets on the wall, so that you can actually pull that desk out. There's umpteen reasons I may want to do that. I'm almost certainly going to want to put an LED strip across the back of the desk, being able to get to the back of the PC, being able to touch up paintwork, etc. And most importantly, being able to run additional cables into that cable trunking that we've put into the wall. That's the whole point of having it there, so that if new standards for DisplayPort, etc. come out, we can update and adjust that cabling. So there we go, guys, latest installment in the Ryzen build. We are going to have a little bit of a break now and do some videos on some other stuff. Really am pondering what else I could do for the Ryzen build.